After one game, I've seen enough. The Mikal Bridges trade might be the worst trade in NBA history. The Knicks' performance was flat out embarrassing, but I'm not here to say I didn't like anything about the Knicks. Jalen Brunson did his thing. Karl Anthony Towns was looking pretty aggressive, whether it was at the three-point line or attacking mismatches. And Miles McBride looked amazing. But when you trade 5 first-round picks and a pick swap for a player, the very minimum you want from them is to keep the jump shot that made them worth the 5 first-round picks, not this atrocity. I don't want to start the year with a negative video, but my expectations are very high for someone who was traded for at least a top 5 trade package of all time. I mean, the only ones I could think of that were bigger than this was Harden to the Nets, PG to the Clippers, and KD to the Suns, which ironically had Mikal Bridges in that package. Mikal Bridges last night started the game 0 for 5 in the first half, which wouldn't be concerning if he hadn't gone 2 for 19 in the preseason from 3 a couple weeks ago. I mean, look at this clip right here. Jalen Brunson gets Derek White in the air, kicks it out to Mikal, who has decent space to get a three-pointer up, and then Brunson starts cutting with White out of the play. Now, I'm not awful coaching. I'm not going to start critiquing players for making basketball mistakes when even the smartest players like LeBron and Chris Paul constantly make mistakes. I mean, that's just basketball. But if your shot is going through growing pains and you're not completely open, you need to be able to make the easy pass. And if you can't make that pass, then you gotta make the shot. And again, I'm being overcritical because the Knicks traded their whole future for this guy. This guy who is very below average at creating a shot for himself or his teammates compared to the other starting small forwards. This is what scared me when the trade was made, as it looked like whether it was with Randall or with Towns, the combination of Hart, OG, and Mikal all being in the lineup together sounds great defensively, but offensively, they aren't much of a threat. Not even just when it comes to spacing the floor, but you can double and blitz these guys, and how often are they going to make the right play? And now let's talk defense. Obviously, trading for Mikal Bridges, you want him to play like he did in 2022 when he was all defensive first team, which should be easy now that he's once again not the #1 scoring option on the team and should have a lot more energy for defense. But he really didn't stand out last night, which was terrible considering the idea of his elite defense was one of the reasons the Knicks went out to get Karl Anthony Towns, a dominant offensive big who can't really defend at all. Now, Cat's defense was also terrible last night, but Mikal wasn't making his life any easier. I mean, here's some clips of Mikal absolutely dying on screens from players like Al Horford, who's a strong big, but he's not Steven Adams strong. And because of that, Cat has to either switch or hedge. And when he hedges, it's an easy cut to the basket. I mean, screen navigation is such an important part of defending that if you're not making your big's job easier by being able to navigate the screens, I mean, how good of a defender are you? You're just making Cat look bad when really it's a two-sided thing. The point of me making this video was not to say that the Knicks will be terrible, Mikal Bridges will be terrible the rest of the season, but it's really just to point out how replaceable Mikal is. They already have a man who has his exact archetype who shoots and defends better, and that is OG Anunoby. So not only did they trade for a role player who doesn't really impact the game much if the shot isn't falling, but they traded 5 firsts for him who isn't even the best on the team at what he does. So this will probably lead to more regular season wins over the next 5 seasons, but their chances of winning a championship are basically the same in my opinion. I still have them ending the season as the 2 seed and making the second round, but there were more impactful and versatile players they could have traded for, or they could have at least traded for some bench pieces. I mean, right now they only have like 6 legit NBA players on their roster. I plan on making videos every day and most of them will be positive, but today's slate was only 2 games. So if you enjoyed, like the video so you'll see more of them.